Hey viewers and friends, Andrew back again and welcome to another video. And I've decided to do a slightly different angle and position for this video, and we're going to see how that goes. So we're going to kick off yet another VHS, DVD and Blu-ray update. These are just some of the titles that I've picked up fairly recently. There's some titles that I've had sitting around for quite a while, but yeah, slowly getting through my never-ending stack of pickups. So you guys know that there'll be many more updates to come, but yeah, this is just a quick update of some of the titles I've picked up and had a chance to watch. So let's get into it. I think there's only like one that I haven't seen, but it's a VHS and I don't really count that because I don't really watch the VHS tapes I pick up. They're more just for collecting really. So the first VHS is Gremlins. Pretty happy to come across this. It is one of my favourite movies from the 80s. Absolute classic. You guys have all seen it before. Great cover art. And yeah, in pretty good condition, so glad to find that. I came across all these VHS for 50 cents at my local Salvation Army store, and I've actually been noticing a trend. They seem to get some decent titles in over a 2-week period, so what my aim is to start going every fortnight. I just feel that gives enough space for them to get more titles in, and they've actually been getting some decent horror related titles in recently, which is always good. So Gremlins. Then the next one, which I've never seen before, and that is the remake of Psycho. Absolutely love the original, it's a classic, but I have never ever seen this before. I've heard it is not very good. I probably won't watch the VHS, but I may pick up the DVD at some point. The next one I already own in a box set, and it is Leprechaun 2. For 50 cents I decided to give it a good home. This one's an ex-rental, so there's a few stickers on it. And the last one, which again is in pretty good condition, it is Steven Spielberg's Jewel. So this one's a classic, not one of my absolute favourites from his. In fact, it's not really one of my personal favourites from his at all, but you know, it's still a decent movie, one of his earlier films. Alright, now on to the DVDs. There's only 2 DVDs and the rest are Blu-rays. So first up I picked up Splinter. This was a $3 pickup from a local pawn shop, and I was pretty pleased to find this actually. It normally goes for fairly high prices in stores and online here in Australia for some bizarre reason, I don't know why. This was actually an ex-rental, and I swapped the case out because it was covered in stickers, and unfortunately I found out that the little bit of the sleeve had been cut. You probably can't really see it too well. But for $3 I'm not too worried about it. The disc's in great condition, and the movie itself is a really fun modern creature feature. Apart from a few sort of bad looking CGI moments, I think they did a really good job with the creature in this, and there's some great gore effects as well, so definitely recommend checking it out if you haven't. Okay, the final DVD is Tucker and Dale vs. Evil. Big W are currently having a 25% off sale, but I also get a extra 5% off with my staff discount card or the company card. So I ended up getting 30% off this one. I think it was about just over $9, and you know, I already own the UK Blu-ray, but this had an extra special feature on it, and I prefer the cover art. Yeah, I get a bit obsessive like that, but you know, this is an exceptional movie. I'm not big into horror comedies, but in my opinion, this is probably the best horror comedy. It's certainly the one that I enjoy the most, and of course it's got slasher elements. I consider this a reverse style slasher movie, so yeah, just the two sort of subgenres of horror combined together work really, really well for this one. So if you haven't checked Tucker and Dale vs. Evil out yet, I highly, highly recommend it. Easily one of the best modern horror movies in my opinion, so yeah, definitely pick this one up if you haven't. Okay, now on to the Blu-rays. Joe will be really, really happy with this one. Finally own a copy of Edward Scissorhands. I don't think I've ever owned this movie before, so had to pick it up on Blu-ray. It was part of the 3 for $40 sale at Sanity, so picked that one up along with a couple of other ones. But yeah, this is a great movie. I'm not a massive fan of Tim Burton and Johnny Depp, especially Johnny Depp. Not a massive fan of his at all, but this is definitely one of my favourite movies involving Tim Burton and Johnny Depp for sure, and it's an absolute classic. I'm sure everyone has seen this, but if you haven't, I highly recommend checking it out. Okay, the next one is an Australian movie. This was also the other one that I picked up for the 3 for $40 deal, and so glad I picked it up. This came off a review that Adam did, aka Spanish Germ, so thanks a lot, and that is The Horseman. This is basically a revenge thriller about a father whose daughter got involved in a pornography ring. She got severely drugged and ended up dying, and basically the father takes it upon himself to seek down everyone that was involved with making the movie and brutally torture them and kill them. So yeah, very, very good. Brilliant, in fact. I really, really enjoyed this. Fairly underrated Australian movie. I never really have heard too many people talk about it. Definitely check it out. Up there with some of my favourite revenge movies, especially in terms of the rawness and brutality with the violence. Definitely the most realistic and brutal violence that I've seen in this sort of movie for quite some time. So yeah, absolutely fantastic. There are some very, very brutal and hard to watch torture scenes in it, so I would definitely recommend The Horseman if you're wanting a very, very good revenge movie. The next one is Ty West's Innkeepers. I did a fairly big order with Amazon yet again a couple of weeks ago, and this is the only one that I've got around to watching from my order yet. Majorly disappointed in this one. You know, I had pretty big expectations going into this, considering I thought Ty West did an absolutely brilliant job with House of the Devil, apart from the ending, but the overall movie is fantastic, so I could sort of forgive him for the ending with this, with House of the Devil. Unfortunately, I think he did a rather poor effort with this one. Yes, I know it's slow burning, so don't start commenting that this is meant to be a slow burning movie. I'm well aware of it, and you know, I don't have an issue with watching slow burning movies, but this was just too slow burning to an extreme, and the payoff at the end wasn't even worth it. Basically, you've got to put up with a very, very slow, dull, boring storyline for about an hour and 25 to an hour and a half, and then the remaining 10 to 15 minutes of the movie is when it sort of starts picking up, and the reward is definitely not worth it. Yeah, I just did not think this was a good movie at all, so I would definitely not recommend The Innkeepers. Stay away from it. Next up we have Adam Green's Frozen. I used to own this and I got rid of it in a trade. Wasn't really into the movie at the time, but this is going back sort of a year ago, I think, and it was part of a cheap sale that JB Hi-Fi have got going on at the moment with their Blu-rays, and you know, I decided to order it and give it another watch. Haven't watched this one yet, but I'll be definitely getting around to that soon, so hopefully my opinions have changed. And the last one, which is definitely the movie of the update for me, and that is the 2011 prequel, The Thing. Surprisingly, this one was part of the Sanity 3 for $40 deal now for the Blu-rays. Fantastic bargain, considering this still retails for anywhere from about $30 to $35 here in Australia, which is fucking insane. This is a movie that I've been wanting to pick up ever since it got released, but the high price tag did put me off, but I couldn't pass up that deal, and totally worth it. This movie is absolutely amazing. Yeah, it's been quite a while since there's been a decent modern sci-fi, and this definitely fixed my itch for a good sci-fi. Absolutely brilliant. I'm a massive fan of John Carpenter's version, and while this isn't as good, it's definitely very, very close to it. I thought they did a fantastic job with it. The CGI is some of the best, if not the best, I've seen in a modern sci-fi, at least for a very, very long time. They did a absolute fantastic job with the CGI. It was perfectly balanced, and yeah, I just thought it was a fantastic prequel and storyline leading up to the John Carpenter version. You've got to watch through the end credits though, because that's pretty much, you know, the movie ends where John Carpenter's version started up during the credits. So yeah, as soon as the movie finishes and the credits start rolling, don't stop it. But yeah, absolutely brilliant. I absolutely loved it. So I would highly, highly recommend this one, especially if you are a sci-fi horror fan, or especially if you are a big fan of John Carpenter's The Thing. Pick this one up. So yeah, that's it for this update. I hope everyone's enjoyed it, and thanks a lot for watching.